water, seaweed, feet. Isn't that fascinating? And Cara. A wild Cara appeared. And a wild me. I'm kind of having to twist my own wrist for this, because I'm also holding a microphone. Yeah. So this is one of those spontaneous, let's just turn on the camera and do a little bit of blah blah, and hopefully it's gonna be a little relaxing as well with all the waves and stuff. Right now there is a lot less beach than there was last time I was here, because, you know, tide.
Which she totally did forget about.
Yep. But I also wanted to talk about a message that I got recently, where somebody asked me for life advice, so to speak. I don't know why you would ask me, but there it is. So it was a viewer who was recently dumped by his girlfriend, and like suddenly, unexpectedly, and he was just in that catatonic stage, I guess you can almost say, like too depressed and without any kind of drive to do anything, and couldn't bring himself to do anything. Was just sitting around basically in a vegetative state. And so what kind of advice can one give in that situation?
I'd say he already did the first important step. He did reach out to other people.
Yep, that's important. Generally, I think it's very important to just not sit around, just do something. You know, maybe meet with friends, if you have friends. If not, that makes the situation a bit more difficult. Or family members, or, you know, anybody you like, or, you know, even if it's...
At least can hang out with.
Yeah, I suppose so. Or, you know, do something with their pets or whatever it is. In general, do not sit around and ruminate. Do not think about what was and what could have been and why did it happen and what did I do wrong and all of that. You're not ready for it at that stage, because that's the stage of emotional distress where you probably can't think too clearly anyway, and you probably won't come up with too many great insights. So what's your take on that, the psychologist's point of view?
Okay, I'm not licensed, so nobody go sue me over this.
But you will be a PhD soon. Not clinical psychology.
Exactly.
You have a bit of the wrong specialization, because it's in risk, environment, and safety, but you still went through the basics, so
Sure.
You have an idea, right?
Well, the thing is, it depends a little bit on what type of person you are, because different people have different problem-solving styles, and getting help from other people is one style that is known to be very effective. Another one would be problem-based, in the sense of you don't look at the problem of I'm no longer in a relationship, but you look at the problem of I'm in a very bad state of mind right now. And then pretty much...
Let me just change position here because I detected wind noise. Hopefully that makes it a little better.
Hopefully. And kind of go through what you can do. Find out what normally helps you to get into a better mood. Make a list. Write down what exactly is the problem. What do you struggle with? And write on the other side of the page things that normally help you get over similar problems that you had before. In a general sense, write stuff down. Even just to maybe throw the piece of paper into a fire, in a sense of getting rid of it. Sometimes a little bit ritualized behavior can help, because if it's emotional stuff that you're struggling with, rational actions might not really solve the problem at all. It's important to take care of yourself in whatever way you need.
And if you don't know, then that's of course a different issue. But even then, I'd say go out and do something, like be active. I know in that sort of state of mind, it's difficult because, well, you're depressed. And depression does not necessarily come with drive to be active, to say the least. In fact, quite the opposite. But
psychologically speaking, we do know that moving around and exercise is one of the most effective antidepressants we have. So whatever sport or outdoor activity you like, get out there and do it.
Yep. And there is probably something, like, even if you tend to be a chronic couch potato, there's probably something that you enjoy. You know, some kind of sports, or, you know, hiking, or whatever it might be. Martial arts, if you enjoy that. Anything like that, you know, if it involves doing things with people, that's good. Unless, well, I always want to add the caveat, unless you're an introverted person, which I am, because that makes it a little more difficult, because then you don't often feel like being around people at all. But it may still be good, because that gets you in a different mindset, simply. Well, there's actually a bit of sun left.
Yes.
Look at all the sparklies. Right next to your boobs. Sparkly boobs. Anyway, so...
I'm so gay.
So, if what you generally like to do is gaming, that can help, but it can also be a problem if it just leads to you just only sitting around and doing it while you're still being depressed.
Well, in there, actually, multiplayer gaming can help, because if you don't have anybody you like around you, being in a, for example, very supportive guild can actually be the social interaction you need.
So, in other words, if you had a recent breakup, play World of Warcraft or something. Well, that's not what it boils down to, but, you know.
Also, Neverwinter Nights is way better.
So, yes, that might help, doing something like that. Basically, do a bunch of activities and see what helps the most. But don't just sit around. Don't just give in to the urge to just, well, sit around and eat, I guess. In some cases, that would be a coping mechanism. And again, don't just, well, I think I'm starting to repeat myself. Like, don't ruminate, basically. Anything else you could say on that? Any other things to avoid, specifically?
Falling into bad routines, whatever it is for you. Well, as Ska said, for example, sitting around and eating, but also over-exercising can be another one of those. Anything you pretty much just do for escapism. Nothing against a little bit of escapism. If you have, for example, a role-playing group, jump on it. That's great. But it should not be in the sense of I never want to have anything to do with my real life anymore. So anything you only do to get away can also be detrimental.
Once you're in a better place emotionally and don't feel that drained and depressed anymore, then you can start thinking about, you know, how to learn from that situation, how to use it to become better. Like in most situations, I would say it's not just one person that, you know, could have done things better. I mean, okay, to be fair, there are some psychos where really they are the only reason why the relationship failed, but I'd say that's an extreme exception. And even then, like, even if you were in an abusive relationship, there might still have been things that you could have done better, like ending it earlier, for example. Things of that nature.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's certainly not easy. But yeah, once you've dug yourself out of that emotional hole, then you might be able to find something positive out of it and learn something from it, and then think that the next person that you'll meet, it's probably going to work out a lot better if you take those cues and work on certain things. But yeah, that's a very, very general statement, of course. But yeah, I hope that helps at least a little bit, maybe. A lot of this, of course, also applies to other negative experiences, like losing a loved person. or having an accident that leaves you debilitated or something like that. And wasn't there psychological research that shows that even in such extreme cases where people have a really dramatic experience and struggle with it, after a while they kind of bounce back to their default level of happiness?
Yes, that's a standard. We have a lot of research that looks at people that, for example, the same company. One gets a raise, the other one gets fired, and then we look at how they predict they will feel in 3 to 6 months. And of course, the person who got a raise said they're going to be in a good mood, whereas the person who got fired said, I'm going to be horrible. If we then actually look at how they feel 3 to 6 months later, both of them are on about the same level. We have literally just bounced back to the medium.
So apparently people are generally pretty good at stabilizing themselves emotionally. It just takes a while. So if you are in that kind of situation where everything seems difficult and you think it's never going to get better, I know it may be hard to believe in that situation, but you do need to tell yourself that it is going to get better, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. But eventually you just need to be able to deal with that emotional hole at the time. So hence the the advice to get active and get together with people and all of that. Just do something to take your mind off of that particular problem, and then a while later you may be a lot better able to deal with it. So of course this doesn't necessarily apply to everyone in every situation, but just some general pointers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? So I'm just gonna splash a little bit here. Skeptical expression.
That's what he married me for.
Yeah, but the voice of reason, huh?
Yeah, because that's totally me always.
Yeah. Well, in any case, as said, hopefully it helps at least just a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've got. And it's really nice here.
That's actually another thing. Go to places you love being. Especially if you, for example, have a place that you really like going and your ex wasn't happy to go, so you might make that, so to say, your ritual cleansing of her. You finally can go.
Or him.
Wherever, whatever, I don't care.
Or it. Them. Whatever.
So in that sense, just find a place that you enjoy being. Get out of the places that remind you of the relationship all the time.
All right. And if all of that still doesn't help, take a swim.